Hey y'all, it's me, Cody. Welcome to the Cody Knits podcast. This is episode 67 or something like that. It is bright and early in the morning. Diamond and I just got back from a little walk, and now I'm sitting down and having some coffee. It's Dunkin' Donuts K-Cup. And I was gonna do a little knitting. I filmed a whole podcast last week. And I got it all done, and because I forgot that I changed my settings so it doesn't publish, it never published. So it's sitting there, but I thought instead of going back and re-editing that and such, I'm just gonna film it again today. And because I did get some new stuff, and the last one was pretty short, so this one's not gonna be too long either. But anyway, and I think the lighting is a little bit better today. It's still it's been a rainy, cloudy, warm week. Like last weekend it started raining, and it's been raining rainy and cloudy all week. Anyway, so I'm Cody. I'm coming to you from Atlanta, Georgia, and this is Diamond, if you don't know. And welcome to my little podcast. Thank you guys so much the new viewers who have subscribed. Thank you. I appreciate your company and you coming by and hanging out with me sometimes. And all of my returning viewers, thank you so much for stopping by again and again and again and listening to my craziness. I have a little bit of knitting to show you. No crochet or other crafting this week, and I got some fun stuff in the mail, so I wanted to show you. Ouch, her little paws are poking in my skin. There you go. So she's spoiled. Let's see. Fine. I think she wants under the blanket. So I've put some new squares under my blanket, but I'm not gonna really go through that today. But I do have a discharged project. Yay! Finally finished these socks. Yay! These are West Yorkshire spinners in the pheasant colorway. This yarn was a gift, and I really appreciate it. I love it. I love the colors. These, I was doing a little experiment. You've probably heard me talk about it if you've watched this before, but I cast these on. So I did a US 0 needle, and I cast on 72 stitches. And normally I use like a US 1 and do 64 stitches, and they fit pretty good. But I just wanted to see, I like the fabric that I got. I mean, it's nice. The foot fits pretty good, but they're a little bit baggy. A little baggy in this area. Not because they're too long or anything like that, but because it's just a little bit baggy. Not so much that I can't wear them or put them in the socks or anything, or in the socks. Put them in my shoes or anything like that, but enough that I know that I can go down to continue with the 64 stitches. I did a contrasting heels and toes, and but these socks took me forever, and it's not because I didn't like them or enjoy knitting them. It's just because these were kind of like my social knitting, and I only knit them in really in social settings. So I don't remember if the last time I showed you these, if I had put the heel in or not on the last one. If I did, I either had just finished the heel and needed to do the rest, but I can't remember. But the other day I was sitting and I was like, I am so close to having these done. If I just sit down and put on a podcast that, like the Grocery Girls, it's an hour or two, I can have these done. So I was like, let me do that. So I sat down and finished these. They're not washed or blocked, but yeah, I really like them. So, yay! Finally a finished object. And the other part of the reason is I've been like obsessed with knitting my next, well, one of my works in progress, which is in this bag. I love this bag. This is this was a gift from Linda, and she has an Etsy shop called Missy in Minnesota, so go check it out. So this is my Exploration Station by Stephen West, and the light just got bad again. Sorry. Not much I can do about it. So let me pull out my pattern so I can tell you more. And again, thank you so much to Emily who gave me this, who gifted this pattern to me. Emily is Crochet Knit 2, and she gave me this as a just because gift, and I love it, and thank you so much, Emily. So I have finished section 4, and the last time you saw this, I was just finishing this brioche section, and I told you I was going to rip it out and redo it because I had made some mistakes. It was the first time I ever knit brioche, and I really enjoyed doing it. I loved it. So I did rip it out because I had a lifeline, so I wasn't scared. So I just ripped it out and picked up the stitches and did it again, and I love it. That's the front. This is the back. Ooh. It's so squishy and lovely. I really enjoyed it. Then the next section was this section here, and it was like a textured slip stitch section, which is really fun. And then I just finished this section 4, which is like a striping kind of effect, which is very interesting. This is fun because I was doing techniques that I've never done before, and they weren't hard. You know, the brioche was probably a little more of a learning curve than anything, but doing this little slip stitch section, and the way that this wasn't just knitting. I mean, it was knitting, but the way you knitted it creates this specific pattern. So like where you would have your garter bump is kind of like you have color, the white, and then the background is the color. I don't want to tell you how because it's a paid for pattern, but that was really cool, and it was simple. So I just have one last section to go. I'm super excited, and it's the border section, or the last bottom section. Another cool thing about this pattern is that as you go, you have a brioche. You have an I-cord edging that you do as you go. So that's nice. I've been trying to be careful because it mentions, because you want this to block out nicely, to not have this, don't do this too tightly because you want it to have some stretch. So I'm hoping I didn't, because I'm a little bit of a tight knitter, I think. I don't know. Someone needs to look at my knitting and tell me, because sometimes I think I'm a tight knitter, and other times I think I'm a loose knitter, and maybe it just depends on my mood. But anyway, I have enjoyed knitting this so much. I kind of don't want it to end, but I do, because I'm excited, because I want to wear it and show it off and all that. And the yarn has been absolutely wonderful to knit with. It's Madeline Tosh, and the colors are beautiful. This is definitely, you know, it has that bright pop of color, but it's also like, it's color, but I would still, you know, it's still wearable with a lot of things. So I can't wait. Oh my gosh. But yeah, I'm having such a lovely time knitting this. And I'm knitting it on ChowGoo. It looks like, it's hard to show because it's all scrunched up on the needles, but I am loving it. So just got one less section. So hopefully probably the next time I see you, that will be all done. I'm really, so I want to tell you what I was planning on doing next. So I really want to knit some hats. For some reason, I have the urge to knit a hat. I bought some yarn when I went to the Knitting with Friends knitting retreat, and with Miss Betty Ann and John and Scott, and so I bought a skein of yarn there, and it had a pattern with it, and somehow this pattern is magic and makes this really cool design with this type of yarn. So I can't wait to do that too. And then I went ahead and brought this is a gift, and this cute little bag. And the next pair, because you gotta always have a pair of socks, and I have not cast them on yet, but I've decided I want to do these. So these are Knit Picks Felici. Look how pretty. It's got purples and yellows and reds and pinks and blues. Very pretty. So this is Felici and a Pinata. And these are 75% superwash merino wool, 25% nylon. And I'm gonna make these for me. So I got 2 of them, so I'm probably gonna do these socks 2 at a time. And I'm gonna go back to my 64 stitches. So yay! This bag was a gift to me, but I believe Miss Betty Ann gave me this, but this is the person who made it. So it's Little Monkey Stitch and Spin. And this is like the perfect little sock pouch. I love this little drawstring. It's got a handle here that's attached. It's got a little snap. So like you could like hook this around another bag or your arm or whatever and just carry on knitting. So it's these cute little cupcakes, and it's got a cute chevron pattern on the inside, and I think the yarn matches it really cutely. And yeah, so I'll definitely recommend you go check out that little shop. Cause yeah, it's cute. The doctor that I work with was so sweet, and she bought us all these specialty cupcakes from a local like bakery place. I think it's called Sweet Little Things or something like that. Man, and we all got this cute little box, and it had 4 cupcakes in there, like 4 different ones. It had a strawberry, it had red velvet, it had like a vanilla and a chocolate. I could have eaten all of them in one setting, but I just have one left, and it's the chocolate. That's one of my favorites, so I was kind of saving it. So this is what this reminds me of. So anyway, that's one of the other things I want to do. I got some mail. I love getting mail, and I really like sending it, but it's been not very convenient to do so. I love my job, right? When I was a nurse, like a bedside nurse, I worked 3 12-hour shifts, sometimes 4 or something if I picked up extra. And that was great. One of the good things about that is I had days off during the week when I could do things like go to the doctor, go to the post office, go to the dentist, stay at home and clean, and it not be the weekend. And I kind of miss that. Being a nurse practitioner now, I work Monday through Friday, and it's supposed to be 8 hours, but that's a whole nother story. But I really have finding it hard to get things done. You know, like when you go, I had to take a day off of work, like request a vacation day so I can go to the doctor. And the smart thing to do is try to plan all your doctor's visit and the dentist and the vet and all that at the same time. But yeah, it's I find it hard to get to the post office and stuff when it's within the hours, you know. And luckily, I found out that the post office that is near me right now is open on Saturdays until 1. So that's good. It used to not be open on Saturdays for some reason or something. Or maybe it was just holiday hours or something. I don't know. But anyway, I did a swap, and I was supposed to send mine has been sent out, and it was sent out a little bit late, and I sincerely apologize for that. But when I was going to send it, I was sick that weekend, and I was not feeling up to going. But I did send the lady a message. Her name is Teresa. And that I love that because that's my mommy's name. They spell it a little differently, but so I was a little late sending it out, but it's sent out, and I got mine. So I think it's the bookish stitcher. Anyway, I was invited to join a swap, and I thought it was so cute because, you know, I enjoy reading and I love bookmarks, and it was a bookmark swap. So the idea was it was just something small where you knit or crochet or whatever, a bookmark for your partner, and then you throw in like a card and some tea, like nothing over the top or anything like that. And I was like, yeah, that'll be great, you know, bookmark. It's not like it takes like 5,000 years to make, and they're cute and they're fun, and so I was like, yeah, let me jump in on that. That'll be fun because I haven't done something like this in a long time. Anyway, so I got mine in the mail. It came all the way from Australia, and I'll show you that last. My favorite part I'm going to show you last. So she included this cute little card. And it says, tea is the finest solution to nearly every catastrophe and conundrum that the day may bring. Don't you just love tea? Good cup of tea. Hey Tilly, if you're watching, thank you so much for sending me that little little note on my last podcast. That made me so happy, made my day, made me feel so special. So, she sent some teas. I can't wait to try. So I do like coffee, speaking of. I know I show you this a lot, but isn't that cute, this mug? Got a little dachshund. Sorry about that. But she sent me some Australian tea. It's called Madura, I believe. Madura of Australia. So she sent me an Earl Grey. This is green tea and Australian lemon myrtle. That sounds good. Classic English breakfast. Can't ever go wrong with that one. And I don't know how to say this word, but I look forward to trying it. Pure, is it Assam? 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 Oh, English. English is hard because you can pronounce something that looks exactly the same 5,000 different ways. One of my favorite words is stool and stool. If you're a nurse or in healthcare, stool can mean a whole totally different thing than someone who is just looking around their house and they need something to help them reach something in the top of a cabinet or that you sit on at the bar. So anyway, I can't wait to try these. Now that I've shown them, I can. So another reason I wanted to go ahead and just refilm this is I can start using this. And this is my favoriteest thing in the whole wide world. And when I opened it, I almost cried because this is so special and so sweet and so personal, and I absolutely adore it. J'adore. Look at this. It's Harry Potter. You guys know I love Harry Potter. It's cute. It's a crochet bookmark, and it's even got his glasses. And look, I don't know if you can see, but it has his little scar. Oh, the detail, and then his Gryffindor scarf. This is just absolutely stunning. Absolutely. I love this. I absolutely love it. Thank you so much. This is so cute. I don't know if you had a pattern or if you just made this up off your head, top of your head, but this was absolutely adorable and I absolutely love it. So thank you so much. This is like the best thing ever. Yeah, thanks. I hope you like yours. Mine wasn't as awesome as this, sadly. But I hope you still like it. And I hope you like the tea I sent. I don't even know if you watch my podcast. But if you do, thank you. And I'll be sending you a message on Ravelry. So that's really all that I have for you. I wanted to give you a prescription, and last time I probably talked a little bit too much in this section. February is a busy month as far as things going on. So the first one, and one of my favorites, is it's Black History Month. And I love Black History Month because I learned so much about people and things that I never knew. And there's so much there's so many things that happen that go on and support, and it's a time to look back and see how far things have come, and really take a look and see how far we still have to go, unfortunately, as far as race issues and cultural things, and loving each other and caring about each other. And I think Black History Month is very, very important. I think that it's important for Black people to have a time to celebrate who they are, and it's not. They don't have like a lot of Black people do not know truly their heritage and where they come from, and what was their their culture of their ancestors, because they were brought over here, and they were stripped of those things, their culture, and what made them who they are. And because there's not like documentation and things like that for people to be able to look back and find out where they're from. A lot of immigrants who come here, or who came here in the past, for instance, people can say, well, my great-grandparents were, came from Ireland in whatever year, and they came here and they did this and this, and then here I am. And a lot of Black people, they don't know that. They don't know their history and who they are, and what culture they came from. And I think that's really sad. I think everyone should be able to know who they are. And there's a lot of sad and terrible things, that came about during all of that, and we don't talk about it. I think it causes a lot of discomfort, I think, and a lot of people. There's still a lot of people in the world who need a lot of work in their heart and education too. And I think that until we start talking about things and not just yelling at each other, and sit down and try to understand each other, things aren't going to get better. So why is it so hard to sit down and talk and be open-minded and listen to what someone has to say? And I believe that no matter what, if someone feels a certain way, or you make someone feel a certain way, that's how they feel. And you can't negate that just because you don't understand why they feel a certain way. So I think it's very important for us to sit down and talk about, and I'm not going to really get into a whole lot of that here, but sit down and talk about, things like the police brutality and the racism that still exists here in America, and the there's so many issues. I mean, if you just watch the news, you'll hear them, and it's really sad. It's sad, but I think this is a time for us to look back on people who were civil rights activists and learn from them and see how their courage has brought them so far, but we have so much further to go. So I challenge, one of my prescriptions is for you to sit down and do a little bit of research about Black History Month if you haven't done already, and have those conversations and learn and meet someone who's different than you are, and you'll learn to understand people better if you just sit and talk to them. The other big thing that happens during the month of February, there's two more. The other big thing that happens in the month of February is American Heart Month. And then there is Valentine's Day. So American Heart Month, I think it's American Heart Month. Is it Heart Month like in the UK or Australia or Canada? Any of those places? If any of you watch, I don't know, but February is American Heart Month for us. And in healthcare industry, obviously, that's huge time. Heart disease is the #1 killer of people, really. And I think, I could be misquoting this statistic, but I think for women, heart disease is the kills more women than like breast cancer and cervical ovarian cancer combined. And that's crazy. And more people are afraid of, people are really terrified of getting cancer. But people are not terrified of getting heart disease, and which is very interesting if you think about like the psychology and stuff behind that. But I guess because people think, maybe, I don't know, everyone's different. I haven't done research on this or anything, but sometimes I wonder, is it because you think, well, I can just take a pill and get my blood pressure better or whatever. The problem is that like high blood pressure, it's a silent killer, because you can go for a long time and have high blood pressure and not realize it. And it's so important to get your annual physicals and know your cholesterol levels, know your blood pressure, especially if you have a family history of heart disease, and get those, and talk to your primary care provider, and all of those tests, the blood work for diabetes and blood sugar, that's covered under your annual physical. So every insurance company I know, I do not know one that doesn't, and including Medicaid and everything, you get at least one annual physical a year, and all that stuff is covered 100%. You may have to pay like your copay, your normal copay or something, but you're not going to be charged for any of those tests. And it's so important to know. So please, if you haven't already, get it checked out. If you have high blood pressure, if you find things early, you can deal with it before it gets so bad that damage is not repairable, or you have a stroke or something. A lot of these things can be controlled through diet and exercise modifications, lifestyle modifications. Sometimes you have to be started on some medicine for a little bit to help you get there. And then once you change your diet and those kind of things, you can come off of those medicines. But it's so very important that you take good care of your heart. You only have one, and it can only function under stress for so long. It's a muscle, and just like your muscles get tired whenever you work out or run or use them too much, your heart can get too tired. And a lot of these things are preventable. And again, sometimes most people don't realize they have high blood pressure until they go to the doctor and they say, "Oh, your blood pressure's high," and you're like, "Well, I feel fine." Or you have a stroke and your blood pressure's way sky high and all that. So we don't want to get to that. So please do that and take care of your heart. Let's see. I think it's heart.org. If you Google it, the American Heart Association, it has tons of free resources where you can learn about some of these things, and what is your cholesterol numbers mean? What is high blood pressure, and what does that mean? You know, how diet tips, exercise tips, there's so much you can learn on there. And it's all free, so go check it out, heart.org. Or you can just Google, if that doesn't work, just Google American Heart Association and it'll come up, like at the top, like one of the first things. Lots of free resources there, so go check it out. And then Valentine's Day happens in February, and everyone, gets all lovey-dovey, and people start dating in January, and then they end up breaking up in March. So they have a Valentine's or whatever. My thing is, I love celebrating holidays, and I do not have anything against any holiday like that. So I think it's fun to share love, and even when it's not, that kind of in love. I hate that in the English language we don't have a term for that kind of love. But it's love, in love. Even if you don't have that kind of love in your life right now, there's still a lot of love to give and a lot of people to love out there. And I know that it's over, Valentine's Day is over, but I still would like to encourage you to do a couple of things. And one is share some love to other people around you who may be having a rough time or a rough day, or just people who you really appreciate that they're in your life, and let them know that you appreciate them. I think that's what Valentine's Day should be about, too, not just your significant other kind of love. And but also love yourself. I think a lot of times we are so tough on ourselves and hard on ourselves to be a certain person or a type of person, or look a certain way, or have a certain amount of success that other people may put on us, or whatever. But just love yourself for a little bit. Take some time to appreciate yourself, and give your body and your mind and your soul, your spirit, a little bit of love. And my battery is at 20%. So yeah, just spend some time for you, and do something for you that makes you feel good, and love yourself too. So anyway, I'm going to let you go now. Thank you for hanging out with me. I hope you enjoyed this little episode. Thank you for spending the morning with me. I am going to go and have the rest of my coffee and do a little bit of knitting. while we get this uploaded. I gotta charge my phone first. But I will see you guys very soon. Again, thank you for hanging out with me for a little bit. I love you all. Be good. See you next time.